Coach Prime has made himself clear time and time before that his goal wasn't just to leave a legacy in the college ranks. He also wants to take his talents to the NFL one day and become a head coach. But while he continues to build his brand and chase history, some folk in the NFL are asking, what happens with Shedeur Sanders if that day comes? Are Coach Prime goals of becoming an NFL head coach helping or hurting his son? And during day one of the NFL draft, we watched Shedeur slide from a projected top 10 pick to not even being selected. And if you would ask me, I would think his father had a lot to do with it. And we're going to discuss in this video whether Coach Prime's leadership is a gift or a curse to his own son's future. And like I said before, Deion Sanders has made it clear that his next step is the NFL. And during the interview earlier this year, Deion was asked would he coach in the NFL, and he's told everyone that, hey, I've been speaking to some NFL organizations about the possibility of coaching, and my ideal coaching spot will allow me to coach my kids. And the NFL heard that, they start mumbling behind the scenes, and Deion was probably iced out there. So we might never see Deion be an NFL head coach with goals like coaching his own son. They don't want the NFL to become a father and son duo type thing like they got going on at Colorado. And yes, he's currently loved in Colorado, and I believe he loved being there. But if we take a quick look at Deion's coaching history from this point, we know that he will not be in one place for long. And for this being an HBCU channel, I would like to tie this into his time at Jackson State. We saw the splash that he made there by bringing in Travis Hunter, one of the biggest recruits ever in HBCU football history, and we saw him go number 2 in the NFL draft. But that extreme success was short-lived for Jackson State, as Coach Prime took the first thing smoking on to Colorado, where he kind of promised Jackson State that he was going to stay there for the long haul. A lot of people bought into the energy that he brought there to Jackson. And when he left Jackson, some people were upset about his departure from the university. I believe that right after the Celebration Bowl that they lost, he jumped on the plane to Boulder, Colorado, and on social media, we saw that he was touring Colorado for his next stop. And it was like, hey, we're done here. It's time for me and my son to ride with Travis Hunter and all of the players that I want to take with me to Colorado, and we're on to our next mission. Where you saw Deion and his son Shedeur and Travis Hunter have a lot of success at Colorado. Not the success that everybody was expecting, but coming from a team that was barely winning games, hey, they put a lot of eyes on Colorado. And that's one thing about Coach Prime. Coach Prime will bring the attention, and the attention he brings is good for revenue, but also it is overshadowing to a lot of his players, especially his sons. And that brings us back to Shedeur. Shedeur starting off at Jackson State as the starting QB, went over to Colorado, and he had a lot of help that a lot of other quarterbacks don't have. And during the draft, you started seeing people pick apart his game and saying that there were issues with how he manages himself under pressure in the pocket all the time. He just forced himself into sacks. But I think there's a bigger issue at hand, and that issue is being kind of hand-fed. So we would call people like Shedeur Sanders a silver spoon kid based off of having the opportunities awarded to him through his dad, which is great, man. That's what you like to see. It's called nepotism in a lot of other industries, but you see people pass down opportunities to their kids every day. And we were all for it. But from the business standpoint, you can see why the NFL has been kind of hesitant on pulling the trigger on Shedeur. It's because of his father. Like I said before, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, is a gift and a curse for his sons. Because having those opportunities awarded to you to have a starting quarterback position without any doubt when you walked on the field at Jackson State and when you went to Colorado, nobody was going to take the son's spot. Now you had Travis Hunter as well in those positions, and Travis, one of the greatest players we've seen put on a jersey, he is a two-way player. He's a great guy, and he's a safety valve for any quarterback. And having him on your team, you could be mediocre and it'll make you look good. And it also took a lot of pressure off the other players because you got a Heisman Trophy winner who can go crazy on either play right there, and that allows Shedeur to have a little leeway as well. So a lot of people are talking about Coach Prime's effect on Shedeur, but the Travis Hunter effect as well is something that a lot of people are probably thinking about. Like, what will he do without Travis Hunter? We haven't seen it. I like to see him succeed on the next level, but I think he's been in a position where he hasn't been able to prove himself outside of the environment of his father and Travis Hunter. And they might look at him as a 3rd or 4th round pick. He never really had a battle without having all of the dogs with him. And you go to the NFL, some teams are loaded and some teams are, I would just say, bloated or something. They look big, but they're not really that good, man. And also, some of those organizations might not even want Shedeur because of the circus that will come with him. Now, Shedeur is a part of the first batch of NIL babies. That's what I'm gonna call them. Him and Travis Hunter are probably the highest paid NIL players that's gonna be drafted this year, or in a while. Travis showed a little more humbleness throughout college. You know, they love Travis because Travis is a go-getter. He's not a show-off. You know, I seen clips early on throughout the season where Shedeur have his chain on at the game, and Travis like, I don't got a chain, you know? So he seems like a kid that's really focused on his game. And I think that helped him out with being drafted number 2. But Shedeur was a little more braggadocious, and I think that was all a play to appease his father, you know? Can you imagine one of Prime's sons being a meek, chill guy like Travis Hunter and not showing off? And I think the brand for Shedeur is a little bigger than his performance on the field. He is kind of distracted at this time. You seen his draft room, it was crazy, but he had the ice laid out. So you can see that the level of celebrity is there, and he's buying into the identity that his dad once had. And the NFL always wanted to hush Deion Sanders up. The NFL don't like players that talk too much. That's one thing. Deion Sanders was like Allen Iverson for the NBA. They want to hush you up. When Allen Iverson came through the NBA dressing like the hip hop stars and iced out everywhere, David Stern enforced the dress code on my guy. And Deion is sort of like that with his son, and he was like that before as well. But the NFL doesn't have as strict of a dress code. They kind of embrace the young culture a lot more than they did before. Some of the NFL teams don't see Shedeur as a separate player. They see him as that package deal, man, that package deal with his father. And they feel like if we sign this kid, his dad is gonna be a distraction. Sort of like LeVar Ball on steroids. LeVar Ball was just an average dad who wanted his kids to win, and you seen how big his voice became. They magnified his voice to a point where he was on sports shows talking about how good his kids is and everything else. And I think some of those organizations might be afraid that if we give Shedeur opportunity, Deion Sanders will be on First Take answering questions about what we need to do with his son, bro. And what Deion says automatically goes with a lot of people. And it's hard to run a business or organization with outside sources having so much influence. But to wrap this video up, man, Shedeur has done everything right on the field. He's performed. He's did what you asked of him. No issues, no trouble. Did everything on each level. But that legendary father lingering over your head with his achievements and his plans is kind of what's holding the kid back. All the way up until this point, Shedeur has had a hell of a ride, and we know he's going to be selected by one of these teams. But with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Hit that like button, that notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm out of here. Peace.